My name is Bailey Triggs. I am the Chief Operating Officer at PAIR, and I'm very excited to talk a little bit about PAIR today and to welcome our guests, Create and Educate. PAIR has contributed to the socio-emotional and STEM fields for the past 20 years. Our team is passionate about supporting youth and educators and helping them learn, dream, and thrive. We partner with organizations all across the country, and we're thrilled to be speaking with one of our partners today, Create and Educate. I'll now hand it over to Danielle Towns, who will introduce our group.
Good morning. I'm Danielle Johnson-Towns, and I'm the Associate Director of Strategic Business Management at PAIR. And we're so excited to welcome Dr. Shika Houston and Principal Tammy Taylor for our Women's History Month Partner Spotlight. This month, PAIR wants to acknowledge and celebrate the contribution of female-owned businesses in the field of education and social and emotional development. Create and Educate, founded by Dr. Shika Houston and again, Principal Tammy Taylor, are both school leaders with 40 years of experience between the two of them, who provide professional development and training and help authors connect their books to K-12 educators. PAIR has been working with Create and Educate over the past year to promote Dr. Noem's 10 Big Bets, Transforming Education During the Pandemic and Beyond. So we're going to talk with them this morning, learn a bit about their work, their passion, and how they support their community and beyond. And without further ado, I'll pass it over to Dr. Houston for a quick introduction.
Thank you, Bailey and Danielle. And we are very honored to be here with you all this morning and to be spotlighted. I have been in education. This is my 19th year. I've been a teacher in the classroom, an assistant principal, a principal, and currently I work at the district level as the Director of Secondary Interventions. And Create and Educate is something that Tammy and I have co-founded together just because of some problems that we've wanted to solve together in education.
Sure. And Principal Tammy Taylor?
Good morning, guys, and thank you all for having us. As Shika said, we're super excited to be with you all and are humbled by the spotlight. So thank you very much. Like Shika, I am a career educator and I am in my 25th year. I've been a teacher at both the primary and upper elementary levels. I have served as Director of Instruction. I've been Director of Federal Projects. I've been Director of Accountability. So I've done lots of different things. And I'm currently serving as an elementary principal in a pre-K through 5 school, which absolutely by far is my best assignment yet. Love what I do. And as Shika said, we consider ourselves problem solvers. So we came to the table and decided that rather than complain and talk about the woes and all that was wrong, that instead of just talking, we were going to be about doing something. And just kind of since that time, really took the bull by the horns, and we've just been on a roll ever since.
Absolutely.
Join Shika and Tammy on the collaborative. Let's go!
The collaborative.
1, 2, 1, 2.
The collaborative.
What's that time?
On Facebook Tuesday at 7.
The collaborative. Who we have? Come on.
We have our leaders, we have our teachers and our parents, we have our authors. Story time at the end, solving problems in our education system. Phenomenal women.
Join them on Facebook.
On Facebook Tuesday at 7. The collaborative.
It's that time. You're with Shika and Tammy.
The collaborative.
Phenomenal ladies. It's educational. Here on the Facebook. The collaborative.
The collaborative.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Tammy. Tammy, you're on mute.
I said, hey, Sheikah, how are you? On mute.
Fine. How are you?
I am great. Tired, but I'm good.
Yes. Hi, Josh. How are you?
Hey, Josh.
And we got a few more people joining us.
Yay. Welcome, everybody.
Yes, Miss Edie, thank you for joining us. And
Yes.
Miss Johnson, Neal, Jasmine, thank you all for joining us. And those of
Yes.
you that are joining us that are
Hey,
educators, hey, Mom.
hi, Miss Beverly.
Let us know what you are doing this week for Teacher Appreciation. We are excited about our annual Teacher Appreciation episode that we started doing last year. So thank you all for joining us.
Definitely. And happy Teacher Appreciation Day to all our teachers out there. And happy Principals Day, because we haven't been on to say that since we had Principals Day. So hope everybody's having a great week. If you're testing, hopefully that's going well. We had our first day of testing today, and we are very thankful. Great test day. So we are excited to be with you guys tonight, and want to just again say welcome to everybody. Thank you for joining us, and we want to make sure that when you come on, you tell us where you're from and share the feed, because we want you not to just keep this to yourselves, but to share it with everybody, because that's what we want to do, have an impact for educators across the world to be able to feel supported and collaborated with. Because remember, we consider ourselves problem-solving educators, and Sheikah and I could definitely just solve problems together. You know, we come up with a problem and we solve it. But we don't want to just solve problems as we see them. We do want to provide the space so that once a month we can bring together our collaborators, parents, teachers, administrators, the community, so that we're able to form that true alliance around collaboration and real topics, so that we hear each other's voices and we give space to everyone to be heard. So we just think that together we are always going to be better, especially when it comes to our kids.
Most definitely, Tammy. And thank you to everyone again for joining us. And again, happy Teacher Appreciation Week and Day for principals. That we did post something on Sunday, but we haven't been on, like Tam stated. So some of you may be wondering, you know, where did Teacher Appreciation Week even come from? So, you know, of course, we're an educational show, so we're going to tell you exactly where it came from. And it was back in 1953, actually, that some teachers wrote Eleanor Roosevelt about getting a Teacher Appreciation Week established. And it took her, it was several years later before it actually became into inception in 1984. So 27 years later, the National Education Association got together with Kansas State and Indiana State Board to lobby Congress in order to pass this. And it actually started in March, but the PTA decided to extend it from a day to an entire week. And that's how it became, you know, the week in May. So we are happy that they had that foresight in order to do that, because teachers definitely deserve appreciation. And probably a month. We might need to go back to the legislature for a month, because
you are absolutely
teachers
right.
really, they do a lot.
They do. And
so Tammy, this year, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that
Tammy.
trivia was so like on point, but just so surprised. Like it took somebody that long to recognize how teachers need to be recognized and appreciated for all of the hard work that they do, because teaching is not an easy thing to do.
No, and in the middle of the pandemic and just so many different nuances have made it even more challenging. And that's why we wanted to do this episode, to make sure that people really know what is entailed in teaching, and how we can really show teachers the appreciation and gain the respect to the field that we really need to have.
Definitely.
And I missed celebrating Teacher Appreciation Week with my teachers this year. I used to really enjoy that. I used to feel like Oprah. You get a prize, you get a prize, everybody gets a prize. But I was Oprah on a teacher's budget, a school budget, not Oprah's budget now. So I wasn't giving away no cars or vacations like I wanted to, but it really felt good to be able to celebrate people. What are you doing this week, Tammy?
Oh, I love celebrating my staff. I think that it does kind of feel like Oprah when you can just give and give and give, and they are so appreciative. I like celebrating students. I love a good celebration for the school, just because I think they deserve it. Now, this week we are doing something different for this 2022 Teacher Appreciation. I am celebrating them with small things for after testing. Each day I'm giving them some snacks and treats to give them the appreciation that they deserve. But we're going to celebrate pretty big next week, just because testing will be over, and I feel like I can give them the attention that they deserve, because I didn't want to have to chop it up, because honestly, first things are first for us, and our mindset right now is in testing mode. So I really wanted to be able to do something.
Josh wants to know what it is.
So Josh, let me just go on and tell you. On Monday, we're gonna have I'm doing breakfast for them. Oh, but I'm telling you, they don't even know. But it's okay if they find it out.
if it's supposed to be a surprise,
it's okay. They know we do stuff all the time. Tuesday, we are doing we're gonna do the snack cart again, what she could call the whoop whoop wagon. So we're gonna do that for everybody. On Wednesday, they're gonna get the gift of time. We're going to provide coverage for every teacher in the building to have 30 to 45 minutes to themselves, just to be able to do what they do, get caught up on what they need to get caught up on. And then Thursday, they're going to have a meal from Taylor's Soul Food. And then Friday is a big day for us as a school, because it's our field day. So we have a pretty big week in store for them.
Well, that'll be awesome. I know that they'll enjoy that. And we are really excited about the awesome guests that we have waiting in the wings. So Tammy, as I bring them in, let us know who we have with us.
Yes, we are so super excited to introduce our guest this evening. We have 3 extraordinary, incredible, absolutely amazingly phenomenal educators with us, and we are honored to have them during this Teacher Appreciation Week, so that we can celebrate them and allow that to be representative of celebrating teachers everywhere, because we think you all so deserve it. Tonight we have Dr. Melanie Gallman with us, and we're very excited and thankful to have you. Welcome, Melanie. And then I have 2 ladies who, it's very dangerous as the principal of the school to bring people on to talk about how people lead, because, I don't know what these ladies might say. But I'm honored to have my literacy coach, Deborah Jordan, and my math coach, Allison Brooks, 2 of the most phenomenal educators anywhere. It's not just in our district or our state. These ladies can be unmatched. They're incredible. So we're glad to have all 3 ladies. And Shika, you want to start with Melanie's bio, or you want me to start?
Sure, I'll start. Dr. Melanie Goldman was born and raised in Richburg, South Carolina. She worked for York Technical College, Chester Workforce and Learning Success Center in Chester as the coordinator and the director to assist individuals in becoming more marketable in the workforce. This earned her abilities to learn computer skills, interviewing, or those people to learn those skills and techniques and passing work keys for better job options in financial literacy and tutoring. After that, she began working as the director of the Center of Rock Hill, South Carolina for South Carolina Department of Employment and Workforce. And while working, she was also an adjunct professor at York Technical College, teaching business, marketing, and management, all while working towards the completion of her doctoral degree with a concentration in higher educational leadership. She completed her doctoral degree in 2013, and upon completion of her studies, she served as an adjunct professor teaching educational leadership in the master's program at Strayer University. And she is now finishing her second master's at the University of South Carolina in educational leadership K-12. Her motto is "Nothing just happens." She loves Romans chapter 8, which tells us that we are more than conquerors. It is a reminder of all that God is for us. Welcome, Dr. Gallman.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here tonight. Thank you.
Yes, welcome. And before I share the bios of these two incredible ladies, I want you to know that I couldn't even get them to give me bios. I had to make this up myself. So I am telling you what I know about these wonderful women. And I'm going to start with Deborah Jordan, who is a master teacher and literacy coach extraordinaire. Deborah is a Chester County native and has 24 years of experience as a second grade and fourth grade teacher, team leader, mentor teacher, teacher leader, and so much more. Deborah is a graduate of Winthrop University as well as the Columbia College with a master's degree in divergent learning. Deborah is a truly amazing educator and an even more amazing person. She's a devoted wife and mother of 5. She's also Gigi to 4 beautiful little ones. Deborah is currently literacy coach at Great Falls Elementary School, where she is dedicated, committed, and serves the staff and students selflessly each and every day. Welcome, Deborah. Thank you for coming. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
And then we also have Mrs. Allison Brooks, the other half of the instructional team duo at Great Falls Elementary School. Like Deborah, Allison is a Chester County native. She's from Great Falls and is a master teacher. Allison is actually our math coach extraordinaire. So they truly are a dynamic duo. Allison has 28 years of experience as a math interventionist, a second grade and fifth grade teacher, team leader, mentor teacher, evaluator, amazing teacher leader, and so much more. Allison is actually graduate of the University of South Carolina twice, and she has both her bachelor's and her undergraduate and her master's degrees from the University of South Carolina. And I told her, I actually thought she was an LSU graduate because she's a true LSU fan. So Allison, like Deborah, phenomenal educator, brings excellence to everything she does. She's exceptionally structured and organized and brings accuracy and precision to every aspect of the school that she touches. She's a tremendous educator and a genuinely good person. Allison is a devoted daughter, wife, and mother of a beautiful teenage daughter, Angelina. Allison currently is serving as math coach at Great Falls Elementary, where she is devoted, passionate, and pours her all into serving our staff and students each day. And I'm telling you what, Sheikah, I feel like a proud parent. You know, I'm on here like these are my kids. And I really thank you guys for joining us, Allison and Deborah and Melanie. We are so excited to talk with you guys tonight. And again, happy Teacher Appreciation.
Thank you, Tammy, and welcome again, ladies. Those of you that tune in regularly to the collaborative, the first of every month, we play a little game that Tammy normally doesn't play correctly called This or That. And this is This or That Teacher Appreciation Edition. So, ladies, I'm going to ask you some questions and you tell me whether which one you prefer. So are you early arrival or stay late? We'll start with Dr. Gallman.
It depends. I am being so serious.
She must have been watching you, Tammy, play the
Yeah,
game.
okay, can see that. I just want to get the record straight.
I'm sorry.
The game is Sheikah's rules, okay? It's only we play by her rules. That's how
Okay. Can you say in between?
No, not with Sheikah, but yes, Melanie.
Really this or that, but if you want to add in between because that's how Tammy plays, that's fine. Go ahead, Dr. Gallman.
Okay, Principal Tammy, I may have to follow you on this one.
Yes.
I'll say in between.
Okay. And what about you, Allison?
Stay late.
Stay late. Deborah?
I would say I'm trying to follow the rules, Dr. Houston, but it just depends. Usually it's stay.
Tell the truth, honey. It's both.
It's really both. I arrive early and stay late.
Oh, wow.
My goal is usually to arrive early, but usually it's both.
Okay. I'm going to let y'all have that one. Okay, so Gene Pass or comp time?
Comp time.
I would say Gene.
Gene Pass, Deborah?
Yes. Because I'm always working. I'm going to be there, so I would.
No point in taking the comp time.
Yeah.
And Allison?
Comp time would be nice. Yes.
Comp time. Okay. And last one, meeting or memo?
Memo.
Deborah?
Memo.
Allison?
Memo.
Yeah. That's how I was when I was a teacher too. It was always memo. But then when I became an administrator,
You got to meet. And it's hard to work with me in it, y'all.
yeah, I had to work from a memo. So that changed. So ladies, tell us what you're either reading now professionally or what's on your summer professional reading list.
Okay. If you want me to start, I right now, honestly, I have so many books that's on my reading list right now because I'm usually working and doing so many things. A lot of times it takes me forever to read one book. I've started with The Alchemist, and but as far as learning, I just finished 360 Leader, Learning to Last, of course, with what we're doing right now. Finishing up my master's, and We Are Crew. So both of those are really, really good reads if you want to know more about how to respond or how to be more culturally responsive and creating a culture and a deeper learning experience in the classroom for your students.
Okay. You'll have to give me that one. I'm definitely interested in that
Great
one.
read.
And what about you, Allison?
This summer, I'm planning on reading Math, Problem Solving in Action by Dr. Nikki Newton.
Okay.
And I chose this book because I really want to work towards building our students' confidence when it comes to problem solving in math and promoting engagement and that productive struggle. So that is
really needed too, Allison. My daughter, I'm always having to help her with math, and that's what she wants, for you to tell her the answer. And then that's what a lot of the children do. They don't want the struggle, and sometimes we give in to them. So that's a good one too that I'll add. And if you all can get to where it says post comments, put in the comments if you're able to the names of these books, because people are asking what books you all are saying they want to add them to their list. And what about you, Deborah?
Dr. Houston, I'm going to have to apologize again because I really feel that in order for me to be the best me that I can be, I've got to work on me as well so that I can be better able to help the teachers and students that I work with daily. So right now I'm reading The Grace Message, and 2 other books that I have that I do want to read this summer will be I'll Start Again Monday and Finding Me. So I know those are professional titles, but I think that as professionals, we have to remember that we do have to take care of ourselves. And so I do like to read books that can help me better reflect and be a better me for my students and teachers.
And that falls right under that professional umbrella because it's helping you do what you do best. So I'm sure there's some people who would like those titles as well. And if you all can't get to the post or comment, put it in the private chat, and then I'll copy it to the comments later when we can get there. So, and I'm sorry, Tammy, you were supposed to do that.
She could go ahead. You are such a ridiculous person.
I am. I really am. So, ladies, you all are passionate educators, just like Tammy and I. And that's, of course, why we invited you to the show. So we know things that are not getting easier in education. Every year, the number of graduates from education schools from the colleges get smaller. So our hiring pools are really, really small. We've really had to do a lot of thinking outside the box. We're working with, the companies that employ our international teachers. And that's why we have a number of international teachers working in several districts throughout the United States because of that small hiring pool that we have here. And education, for some reason, still just doesn't have that respect that we need from a large percentage of the population. And just thinking back to how even Teacher Appreciation Week was incepted, that it took 27 years for the idea to really come into full fruition. And I think that probably still goes back to that respect level. So tell us, and we're going to give each of you one of these questions. So just for the sake of time, what you enjoy most about the profession. Allison, what do you enjoy most about teaching?
I would have to say seeing basically the fruits of our labor. I've been in education for 28 years, and it's very touching to just be on the car rider line and see our students coming in and the parents bringing them to school were the kids that I taught years ago, and just seeing, how they are becoming productive adults and happy with their lives, and just knowing that I made an impact. And it just means so much to just have those conversations with them and see how, the happy memories and the times that we shared together. It's a wonderful profession because you truly do get to see how you impact those lives, not only when they're in your classroom, but many years down the road.
I love that answer, because seeing the fruits of your labor, that definitely is something that's rewarding, and seeing those light bulbs go off.
It is. And I think in a small community like where our school is, it's even more rewarding, because you really see and know, like on a daily basis, that you are seeing these kids that you actually have, in Allison's case, taught, and now their children are coming and matriculating through the school, and it's just a great feeling.
Definitely. And Tammy, Dr. Gallman could probably answer what we think that the legislature would need to know. Yeah, I'm going to put these books in the comments.
Okay, that's great. We'll go to you, Dr. Gallman, so that you can kind of tell us, because as we're talking about what we're passionate about and how this has been such a rewarding experience for us, there are things that we know can be done to make things better. And we are just asking if there is something that we could tell each one of these respective groups that we're going to talk about to do that would help make things better. What would that be? And we'll start with you with legislators.
Right now, one of the main things is culturally responsiveness in the classroom. There is no homogenous or anything that or one strategy that schools have that many teachers and principals can follow to bring more cultural awareness into the classroom that respects all. Many principals and leaders, they have their own way of being able to approach this. But there is a call for states to come together to create a plan for cultural responsiveness right now. We always want to make sure that children, are the main focus here. And right now, with everything changing the way that it is with the pandemic, with the level of motivation, the mental health among students, there is a call right now to create strategies where all schools can adopt and be able to respond to what is happening around them. The things that we've been doing in the classroom, it works, but it's sort of been the same for a while. And it's now time to come up with a different approach.
I agree, Dr. Gallman, and I actually saw something in a group today that talked about how in Germany they teach, all about the Holocaust, and it doesn't, make children ashamed or anything. It just really puts forth that empathy and, making sure those things don't repeat themselves. And that everything is fine. And we have this battle here in the United States with critical race theory and those types of things. So I think you're right. Those are the types of things that do need to be thought about. And just as we were learning about the history of Teacher Appreciation Week, what it takes is lobbyists. And a lot of times, I don't know that we have that type of power as far as lobbying the legislature is concerned. And I think that's where we kind of get stuck sometimes in education with things that we really think need to be taking place.
Absolutely. And I think that it's important, like the shift needs to happen, but it's kind of like Lamont said, that politics sometimes get in the way of what needs to happen because it isn't necessarily the politically correct thing to say or do. So it puts that kind of to the back burner because it's easier to ignore it than it is to meet that challenge head on. And while we're talking about what we can do, Deborah, let's bring you into this. And what could our district personnel do that could help us and further us on our journey? And I don't want you to feel uncomfortable because Sheikah's on here. Just go head on and don't worry about stepping on her toes. Just tell the truth about how you think we could employ our district personnel across the country to help us with where we are and what we face in education.
I think one of the biggest things that help teachers feel like they are valued in education is that they're appreciated, and that the people, the students, the other staff members, the district personnel actually see them as professionals and trust them and trust that they are doing what needs to be done in the classroom, and that decisions are made, that they have input into those decisions. A lot of times I think I hear a lot of teachers feel like they are not valued, I guess, when it comes to education, and that decisions are made without them in mind. So I think that we have to definitely make sure that teachers know that, their worth, they know that how they feel are important, and that when they make suggestions or when they ask for certain things, they're actually heard. Because when we think about our students, our teachers in the classroom are the ones that impact that the most. And if they are unhappy, if they don't feel like they are appreciated, that they are valued, then it's definitely going to impact what happens in the classroom. So, getting teachers' input, letting them know that they are valued, let them know that you hear them and that you take action, when you do hear them, I think would be a step in the right direction.
Well said.
Definitely. And I agree with you wholeheartedly, Deborah. And I told people that I used to call the district office the Ivory Tower, but now that I work over there, I've asked people not to call it that anymore. But I definitely advocate for teachers because I know how important you all are. And, Dr. Sutton is building a culture where that is something that is definitely happening, where teachers' voices are and that input is heard, respected, and needed, because like you said, you all know you're on the front lines, you're right there with the students and are in the most contact with them daily. So you're right on point. Allison, I'm not going to ask you to talk about principals since your principal is on here.
Please do, Allison, and be brutally honest. You know what? Because Josh is on here and he's waiting for y'all to really tell the truth about how I lead. So be sure to be completely honest when she asks you.
So I'm gonna ask Allison, what would you like for parents to? How could parents support teachers more and educators?
Of course, having an active role in their child's education, as much as reading with their children, checking on how their children are doing, having those dialogues also with the teacher, making sure, that they're aware of the things that are happening at school with their students, building a relationship with parents and teachers, having that open communication, and most importantly, trust, building trust between the two so that they can work together. We always tell our parents that they are their child's first teacher and that we're in a partnership together with them. Whether that is maybe they're away at work and unable to be here and visit the classrooms pre-COVID, but also just having those opportunities to be together and have that relationship and trust is very important to show the teachers that they do trust what's happening and they trust the teacher.
Most definitely, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I think that COVID really kind of opened our eyes as educators to be more open to how parents can engage with us. And so, having those Zoom meetings is a lot more common now, instead of people having to drive to the school. And I've used the Zoom links myself with teachers, which was much more convenient than me having to take off of work. So, I think us thinking on both sides, how we can better collaborate and work together to serve students definitely has happened since COVID. And hopefully those bridges will come, even more so. And I got distracted reading what Josh just put up here.
Absolutely, guys. You ladies, that was well said. And we appreciate your voices because the collaboration is truly important. And Josh, that was me who said your name. I told my people to be honest because I know you're listening to hear how Tammy Taylor really leads at her school. And now's the time to find out when you have people here who can tell you.
And Lamont put up that his daughter's teacher came to her just gymnastics competition, and that meant the world to them as a family, and things like that really do matter when you see that, you know, your child's teacher is so engaged and so involved to the point where they even heard them say that they were participating in something and took the time to come out. So those are the types of things that really build relationships and really give lasting impressions to children and to families.
Definitely. It means a lot.
It does. Tammy, we can take the one about the community, and then I'm gonna let Dr. Gallman talk about what principals need to know. I'm not gonna put Allison and Deborah on the spot.
I think you need to let at least one of them say something, because Josh is listening. He's ready to hear.
So what this means, guys, is Tammy really wants to hear what y'all think.
No, I really don't. I know what they think about me. I don't need them to tell me anything. Or what I could do is, to save time, I'll give them your number, Josh. We'll call you one day and I'll let them talk to you.
But for the community, that same type of engagement, I think, is needed, as far as just what we heard about at the beginning of even how Teacher Appreciation Week came about. It was the parent-teacher organization that, lobbied for it to be an entire week. So just hearing the educators' voices, but putting some action behind what is actually needed, because a lot of times people in the community carry more weight with legislature people and, people that actually make the laws and make changes in education than they do when they hear our voices. So just being actionable in the community when you hear that there's things that you can get involved in, and just be involved and find out how you can help. There's several businesses that come to the schools to help mentor. They contact the school district to find out how they can partner, either financially or, sponsoring projects. So all of those types of things are very helpful. And anything you wanted to add about the community, Tammy?
Sure. I think that back to something that Allison was saying about trust, because I think the trust factor is something that when the community begins to trust us as the school, and trust that we're there to do the right thing for and by children, because we are, then I think it would be easier to support what's happening in the schools, so that voice is synonymous with what we're saying. This is a great place for a child to learn, to grow, and to be, because that's what they're helping them to do at the school. So I think just building those trusting relationships, and it never hurts. I think you're right. When we have our partners who donate and sponsor events and do things for us, give us a discount for the snow cones that we're going to be able to purchase. All those things make a difference. But I think the thing that's going to be the most impactful for us as a school and a community is that we can grow together and support what's happening from the school's perspective, support what's going on in the community and be there. But from the community's perspective, to also support what's happening at the school and believe the best, because sometimes that's another thing that hinders us from walking hand in hand. It's easy to believe the negative or the things that aren't actually happening at the school.
Definitely. Were you going to say something, Dr. Gallman? Oh, okay. And just to add to that, Tammy, a lot of times too in the community, if we would just come together and just talk to one another, instead of going to social media just to post comments, if you have an issue with the teacher or the principal, talk to them, because that's how you solve problems. Just putting statements out there and you don't have both sides of the story, a lot of times just adds fuel to the fire and doesn't really accomplish the goals. And I haven't met any educators who are rooting for children to fail, and I'm not going to act like everyone is the same, and that there are not bad experiences at the hands of educators, because we have that in every industry. But for the most part, I don't think that, people are rooting for the children to fail. We want to see the children succeed, and we all have to, be on the same team and make sure we're doing that together.
Absolutely. The thing that's important about the discourse, though, is if we do take the time to talk to one another, then those issues that you were talking about with people who aren't doing the right things or in it for the right reason, those things can be discussed and dealt with, because now you know.
Right.
So I think discourse is very important.
And Lamont has a question. How has social media created issues within the school? This is probably a topic for a whole show. Because when I think about the time that I spent on issues with the children surrounding Snapchat, surrounding children coming into a room and airdropping photos to everybody in the room, surrounding things that happen on social media that didn't have anything to do with school. But if I was going to get anything productive done that day with the children and the teachers, I had to deal with it. So it takes a lot of time. I really wish parents would consider all of the things that children have access to when they get access to cell phones that they don't necessarily need. I wish the cell phone companies would make phones for children like the Jitterbug phone, where they could only call the parent, press the button for parent, 911, and maybe one other relative. But, it has caused lots of problems. And I think even at the elementary level, the children have phones now too, don't they?
Some, we don't deal with that on a daily basis, thankfully. But it's just the whole concept. It's just a monster, because it can be such a valuable tool for getting communication out and announcements and those kinds of things, but it also can be used very vengefully. And so it's irresponsibly, because when you're 10, you don't really have the wherewithal to be responsible enough to do what you have to or should do with a device that allows you to do so many different things.
Right. And as Josh stated, social media is a great weapon for a school to combat noise. So like you said, Tammy, it's something that can definitely be used to you take control of your story and you tell your story through social media. And I don't know anybody who does it better than Josh. He's a principal out of Texas. And he is constantly posting positive things about his school, his teachers, recognizing them and celebrating them. And it really allows him to take control of that story for the school. So using it for a means to rebrand is something phenomenal for educators to do. But we do need help from parents with some of those negative aspects where it can cause problems and disrupt the school day. So Dr. Gallman, our last question, what do you think principals need to know in order to best help teachers and serve teachers?
Okay, well, I have a phenomenal principal. I must add that. So it is not about him at all. Okay. But what I've witnessed and being in, the educational setting for a number of years is the open door policy. I think that's very, very important because, the teachers know that you have their back. They don't feel like they have to knock or email just to see your face, which is big. They know that, you actually care about them and you support support their decisions. It's big to create that trust among them, or they trust you, that's big as well, because you do have that teacher principal relationship where there is no real trust between a teacher and the principal. And, you know, you don't want to ever be in that situation. You know, of course, you know, I think I hear a lot of teachers say this: discipline the kids appropriately. You know, there are many teachers that, you know, they have issues with the child. They send the student out and the student comes right back with nothing done, you know, with them or the child, or you're even in the loop to even know what's going on. You know, so you know, discipline them accordingly. And you know, I guess, you know, just becoming that communications expert, just really communicating with your teachers, you know, with all the parents, the community, letting them know all the great things that are going on in the classroom. You know, I witnessed principals going inside of the classrooms and, you know, they're welcome. It is not one of those moments where the teacher feel like they're being watched or like, oh my God, you know, the principal's in here today. You know, it was more, how are you today? What's going on? And they just start to include themselves in the class. And I thought that was phenomenal for the teachers to be comfortable. So that let me know that, you know, they're always being seen, that they're checking on their teachers daily. And, you know, those are just some of the things. And, you know, there are many, but those are just some of the things that have stood out to me from phenomenal principals.
I loved all of those. Those are definitely great. And Josh was adding some things about, you can't say you have an open door policy, but then have your secretary guard your door. And that is true. And the number one rule of discipline: when a student is sent to you, never ever send them back to the same period. It destroys the climate. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And one thing as a teacher, I would definitely do, I used to handle everything that I could because I felt like it gave me control over what was happening to the child, that within my power to do. So of course I wasn't suspending them, I wasn't sending them to ISS, but I had my own construct of what punishments were within my classroom that the children were aware of, that we would go through with, so that I could minimize having to send it out to get somebody else's opinion on it. But all of those were great things that you mentioned. Anything else anyone would like to add that you may have thought of as we were talking? Well, we are coming to the end of the show, ladies, and we thank you all for your input and thank you for joining us. And we truly do celebrate you all as phenomenal teachers and educators, and what you bring to our children and our schools is just awesome and phenomenal. So thank you for what you do.
Yes, we appreciate you guys very much. And ladies, we value the conversation and thank you for the voice that you've given to your thoughts tonight. And hopefully these conversations will have a lasting impact and make some changes in what happens with educators throughout our nation.
Most definitely. And Josh is saying that Principal Hurt is going to be on Unlock the Middle on Sunday. So we'll definitely have to tune into that. And we know that'll be a great episode. And Josh is also a partner with me with the 10,000 Steps Club, where our goal is to get those 10,000 steps each day. And I know Deborah's working hard towards that too, with her fitness goals. And some of you also may be doing that as well. But I usually post on Facebook and do an update, and you can check in there. And Josh is over the one on Twitter. So when he put up that I earned my Ric Flair yesterday, I got my 10,000 steps. I'm still working on today, though. Today I'm only at 6,305, but the night's not over. I still got time. But thank you all for joining us. Visit our website so you can go to the bottom of the page and follow our other social media handles. We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And Tammy, did you want to tell them about the book?
Go ahead. You go on and tell them.
Our partnership with PAIR that you saw at the beginning, Dr. Gil Nome is an associate professor with Harvard Medical School, has provided us free copies of the 10 Big Bets through a grant, Transforming Education During the Pandemic and Beyond. So ladies, for you all joining us today, you will get a free copy of that book. So thank you all for being with us. If you're a leader and would like a free copy of the book, just go to our website and fill out the form and we will mail it to you. Tune in with us on Saturdays at 10:30, where we are in the Real Academy. Right now, we have a reading series that we are providing to parents, educators, and anyone who serves children, because we are very passionate about reading and making sure that improves for children. And join us Thursday, The Power of Collaboration. Bijane, Kareem, and I will be highlighting authors. So we usually end with a
Shika, before you do go into your authors spotlight, Deborah's wanting to make an announcement too, I think.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Deborah.
I just wanted to quickly say, I didn't want to be on here and not say anything. Miss Taylor gives us, I think, way too much credit, but we are able to be, and I know Allison would agree with this, we're able to be the coaches that we are because of her outstanding leadership. She believes in us. She communicates that to us daily. And not only does she believe in us, she believes in her teachers and her students. And so she has truly created an environment at our school that is one of teamwork and collaboration. And there's no job there in that building that she asks any of us to do that she's not willing to do and very capable of doing. And so it makes a difference. And all of the teachers work really hard. Of course, they love the kids, but they work really hard because of the respect that they know that Miss Taylor has for them and the respect that they have for her. So we appreciate her.
Deborah Jordan, if I had known that was the announcement, I would have let Shika close right on out. Miss Brooks, you know better. You should have stopped her from there. But thank you very much. You're very kind. I appreciate that. Thank you. But they are who get the work done. You know that, Shika. You know.
And I know that Deborah is 100% correct, and Miss Taylor is correct about what she says about you all. You are very hard workers, and that shows in you all's results that you get from year to year. So keep up the phenomenal work. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, Deborah, about the respect, because that's the very thing that's on the front of our framework that we created. Respect is the door. That's the key to everything else. And if we have that respect, people will work hard for you. So when we're thinking about that as the community, as parents, when we respect educators and what they're doing and the fact that they have your children a lot of times more than you do, those things go a long way, and people will work hard for you and for your children. So those are things that we definitely need to think about. They do it anyway without it there, but just think how much further that would go if it was actually in place in a more broader spectrum. So thank you for saying that, Deborah. And we normally end with story time, but since we have our author showcase show, we changed the format. So we just have an author's highlight. This is a book called Friend or Not by Jay Reef. And it's a child's perspective and a parent's insight on friends. A lot of times what I see happen when children transition from the elementary level to the middle school level, parents don't realize that their major people who had their attention and that influence at the elementary level usually is the parents and the teacher. When they come to the middle school, that big peer influence becomes the bigger influence, more so than the parents or the teachers.
And it starts in the 5th grade.
Really?
4th grade. So 5th grade, they are paying attention to each other.
So a lot of times parents will say, oh, that middle school and all those teachers at the middle school, and what are they doing at the middle school? It's not the school. Make sure you know who your children's friends are. That is their influence and what they're talking about. So this is a really good book that really helps dig more into that and make children understand how to pick friends. Sometimes they don't know, and what makes a good friend and how they need to be good friends, because they don't know that either a lot of times.
Sure.
And the last book, this is something for the educators. This is called Delinquent, and it's by Daphne Robinson. She was a prosecutor, and she's talking about how the American juvenile justice system is failing Black children. And she gives a lot of other ways that we can try to help and intervene with children before placing them into the system, which usually doesn't help them at all. It just keeps them there, and it becomes a cyclical process. So I will add those 2 books and those authors to the comments. That's another part of what Tammy and I do with our work, is highlight independent authors that have great work that could contribute to educators and education. So thank you all again for joining us, those that tuned in with us and stayed the whole time. And thank you, ladies, for your time. You could have been doing something else. But
we're so sorry we ran over. We're way over tonight. Way over. But it was a great conversation. Thank you guys so much.
It was. So thank you all. And we will see you if you're joining us for the Authors Showcase on Thursday. And if not, we will see you Saturday. And the collaborative airs the 1st of each month. So thank you.
Joy Shika and Tammy on the collaborative. Let's go!
The collaborative.
1, 2, 1, 2.
The collaborative.
What's that time?
On Facebook Tuesday at 7.